In just 1 week, if you take the actions explained in this video, you will get crystal clear on what it is that you want for the rest of your life. I will give you a very tangible and understandable step-by-step process, which if you follow, you will understand exactly what is the reason that you are alive. This is something very few people talk about, even less people go through something like that, and close to no one knows genuinely what it is that they want from life. The reason for that is because most people are civilized with the way they live life right now. They have the false perception that they are doing what they truly like, when in reality they are rather following social trends or money, which is also known as the matrix. I like to go around and ask people if they like what they do. They may be doing the most boring job on earth, but even so I always get the answer that they do like it. And normally that is their ego blinding them from the truth. If you look around your life, what do you see? What is your career? Why are you doing that? Like, think about it honestly. I believe it's not because you want to improve society. Most probably the reason why you do so is because you got manipulated into it. And worst of all, you don't even know about it. No one can be sure if they got manipulated or not. Following what everybody does is a huge red flag. Because if what everybody did was right, everybody would be rich, happy, and peaceful. But that is not the case. If we want to be rich, happy, and peaceful, we must follow what the people who achieve that are doing right now. And one common factor that all of them share is that they are clear on what they want. Successful businesses have something that they call the vision and mission statements. And for people, we call it purpose. So let's get to the guide that will help you understand what your purpose is. But before that, besides the point, something big I noticed is that all the people online who tell you do this to understand what your purpose is some big ass bullshit. In fact, there's a video posted by the TED Talks which is titled How to Know Your Purpose in 5 Minutes, which got 19 million views. But as I said, that is nonsense. Because if you notice, if you try to understand what your purpose is in 5 minutes or even in a few hours, it won't be enough. I will tell you why when I get to explain the step-by-step process. I call this process Reflection Week. It can take up to a week, but I believe that 3 days is more than necessary. So step 1, clear your calendar off for 1 week. And do it for the soonest as possible. Step 2, before you start the reflection week, you have to do preparations, and those will depend on your circumstances, which you will know later on in this video, starting from step 3, which is initiate the reflection week. So this is the big part. I divided the step 3 in different phases, and each phase has a different goal, and we will go through them right now. And if you follow those exactly as I say, and even improving them a little bit, adapting them to your style, then there will be no other way than not to know what it is that you want from life and to discover your purpose. As for phase 1, you want to disconnect for at least 16 hours. And we won't just disconnect like you could understand it. We will have an extreme disconnection. You will not be allowed to have your phone with you, your computer with you. You will not be allowed to have music, even books, even talk to people. I repeat this again. You are not allowed to talk to people, and you are not allowed, if you want to bring it to the extreme, you are not allowed to eat. So we want to be completely disconnected from society and from everything that could distract us, including food, because if you know, when you don't eat, you don't digest as much, you don't spend that much blood digesting, so that's less energy digesting, so that you have more energy to think. And that is what we want to do here. We want to be completely disconnected from everything. And I told you that we never know if we are authentic or not. And that is the exact goal here. We want to become authentic with ourselves. Because before I told you that you will never know if you got manipulated into something. And by doing this disconnection, this extreme disconnection, and it should be extreme, I repeat, you want to become authentic. You actually will become authentic. Because if you notice, I was thinking about this like a few months ago. If you notice, everything around you, your phone, the computer, the people around you, music, food, like all of that are some things that manipulate you in some kind of way. You see that guy doing more bicep curls than you do with more weight, and you think to yourself, oh shit, that guy is stronger than me, I have to train more. And maybe originally you didn't want to train more, but now since you saw that guy, that little manipulation, that few seconds that you saw him, are something that are making you not authentic to yourself. Or maybe you went to the train and you saw that lady which has that amazing clothes, and you think to yourself, damn, that style is good, I wish to have something like that as a style. That is something not authentic to yourself. So by doing this disconnection, by allowing yourself to be completely disconnected from literally everything, you will become more authentic with yourself, and you will start to have more authentic thoughts than you usually have. That is something important, because if you do what I will tell you next, the next phases of the reflection week, without disconnecting, you will have your mind manipulated by your external distractions, and therefore the purpose that will come up out of this will not be your authentic purpose, and you will not feel aligned with it. So first step is to disconnect. As for my example, what I did was go with a car to some mountains and spend there 2 nights. I spent 3 days in total to reflect and discover my purpose. And I just spent two nights in the mountains without having any contact. Well, I said hello to a few people, like maybe 3 people in total, but still I had no contact with people, and I had nearly no food, and I got completely disconnected from everything. I was just hiking up the mountains, enjoying nature, and thinking about what came to my mind. And also, the only thing that you have to take with you on this reflection week, on these days of disconnection, is maybe some clothes, water, and especially a pen or pencil and a notebook. Because that is what we will use in phase 2. What we will do in phase 2 is reflect. I will leave you in the description a link to a document which has 65 tough life questions, which will help you understand what your purpose is. And what you want to do with that is, before going to the reflection week and making, like, while you're making all the preparations, you want to write down in your journal, in your notebook, at least 10 of the questions you have in that document which you feel like most, which the ones that you like most answering. And those will be the questions that you will be answering during the second phase, during the reflection time. So once you go through 16 hours of disconnection, you will reflect on those at least 10 questions. Remember, minimum 10. And I don't want you to reflect on those questions like thinking about, oh yeah, what would I do if I died tomorrow? Yeah, I would play video games. Next question. No, you have to think about them deeply, or forget about that time is going by, and just try to like come up as much thoughts around that question that you can. And you will notice when you are finished. But you have to make it like truly. You want to answer deeply those questions. So here you have to select 10 questions, write them down on your notebook, and answer them during the reflection time. As for phase 3 of the reflection week, we will be making a summary of the answers of those questions. You will notice that when you answer those questions, you will see common patterns between them, like some things will repeat themselves, or you will see common thought patterns. And what you want to do on the summary point here, on the phase 3, is just make a summary of all of them, so you don't have excess information, and that you can clearly understand what were you thinking about and what are your answers. And what I did in my case, for example, is just a bullet point list. You can maybe do some drawing or whatever you feel like doing as a summary, but just try to make a summary out of the answers you gave to the questions, and just make it understandable to you, better understandable. And now comes the phase 4, which is purpose statement. This is where you will understand what your purpose is. You want to create at least 1 and maximum 3 different purpose statements, and you will create them based on the answers on the summary that you got from answering the questions that you journaled about. To create a purpose statement, like, I will give you a few examples. I know the Mr. Beat's purpose statement is to create the best video ever. Elon Musk is to get as close to the moon as possible. Jeff Bezos' purpose statement is to make the customer experience better. And in my case, I journaled about 3 purpose statements. I have one related to myself as a human being, another one to my health and fitness, and another one to business. And as for me, myself, as a human being, my first purpose statement that I came up with, which I saw as a common pattern in the answers I gave, is to become the best version of myself. And yes, it sounds quite broad and not deep, but since I journaled about those questions a lot and I gave prolonged answers, I summarized them and then converted them to this purpose statement. I know that this answer, this purpose statement, which is to be the best version of myself, is actually something very deep to myself. And when I say it, I know exactly what I mean with that. As for the second purpose statement related to health and fitness, I have to make progress in extreme maximum effort activities. And that came through the thinking process that I like to challenge myself and make progress in something difficult. That is why I am currently training as a powerlifter and running long distances in running, like marathons or ultra marathons. And as for the last purpose statement, I want to make people more purposeful. And that is the exact reason why I am making these videos. And that is the exact reason why I'm doing all of this that you see. And that purpose statement came from the thinking that I saw a common pattern in me, that this is something I would do even if I didn't get paid for. Right now, I don't get paid for making these videos, and I don't expect to get paid. But still, I am sharing with you all of this experience because I want to make people more purposeful, especially you. And as for the last phase related to the purpose statements, you want to reflect on why. Your purpose will never be complete if you don't have a strong why behind it. So the real reason why your purpose is something that you commit yourself to is because you have a strong why. Let's say, for example, a clear example is Mr. Beast. He has millions of subscribers, he has millions of dollars, and he's always challenging himself, making really complicated videos, and if like following the purpose statement that he wants to create the best video ever. But if he didn't have a strong why, if he didn't have like a strong reason why he wants to do so, he would give up at the first obstacle that he saw. Like, that is how it would be. And to understand what your why is, the best way, like you probably have your why already answered. You can identify it in the answers you gave to the journaling questions that you journaled about. But the best prompt that you can use to understand the reason why is to answer this question. What would happen if you didn't live up to your purpose? So just think about it. What would you feel if you didn't live up to, for example, let's say to have that ideal body or to have financial freedom? And just think about it. What would be the reason why you are doing that? And what would you do if you didn't achieve that? And for me, for example, I won't tell you the reason why exactly, but I know for sure that thanks to the reason why, there is actually no other way for me than not to achieve my purpose. Well, you can't achieve it, but not to get closer to it, not to be aligned with it. And with that, you would have enough information to actually discover your purpose. But to make it even more complete, I will give you some bonus phases. And with those phases, you will actually be able to come with them at life and be straightly aligned with your purpose. For phase number, I don't know what number it's already, but for the next phase, what you want to do is set long-term goals. And with long-term goals, you will want to define in exact precision what you want your future life, your dream life to be. So you want to just think about it deeply. How is your family? How is your business? How is your health? How is your body? What do you eat for breakfast? What is your routine? Like, you want to get as detailed as possible here and define in exact precision what your dream life looks like. That is long-term goals. Next phase, after you identify the long-term goals, is to set short-term goals. And those will be the ones that you are focusing on right now. You want to set from 1 to 3 per short-term goals, no more than 3. And actually, the reason why we don't want to have more than 3 purpose statements or short-term goals is because when you have more than 3, you have none because your attention is dispersed in too many directions. So you want to set from 1 to 3 short-term goals for the next 3 months to 3 years. And if you're someone new in setting goals, I recommend you to start with 3 months and then like with time go upgrading to more and more time. Right now, for me, in my case, I am currently setting short-term goals for the next 6 months. And with these short-term goals, you want to align them with your long-term goals, which are also aligned with your purpose. And in my case, I have 3 short-term goals, which 2 of them are directly aligned with 2 of my purpose statements. Then, when you set short-term goals, the next step is to set the most important activities, because each goal will have like the most important things you will have to do. So you want to identify what's most important for each activity. I won't go too deep into this because I explained about it in other videos, but you want to identify, like, according to the law of Pareto, or also known as the 80-20 rule, identify what's most important for the short-term goals. And once you do all that, this is the last point which will help you most, is to create the purpose journal. So you will want to create like some type of journal where you sum up all of your conclusions. You will sum up your purpose statements, your long-term goals, your short-term goals, your most important activities, and you can add up there something else, and that is your purpose journal, which you will have to check every single day. And I don't tell you to do that because you want to be someone unique. I am telling you all of this because this is what actually people that are happy, rich, peaceful, and successful are doing. They have clear goals, and they go through them every single day. So those would be the steps and phases to discovering your purpose. But last thing to know, which is not a phase or step, but just so that you know about it, is that the purpose you come up with will never be the true core purpose. We in our lives have a reason why we are alive, and just by thinking about it, we will never actually nail exactly what that reason for being alive is. Your purpose statement that you will have after going through this process will not be like highly aligned with your true core purpose statement. What we're trying here is to basically like make up some purpose which might be aligned with your true core purpose, but it will probably not be aligned. And don't worry about it like it's something normal. What you will notice is that like it's perfectly fine. But what you will notice is that once you go like faster and faster and further in your purpose path, you will see how misaligned that purpose is. And in the future, you will be able to make some little adjustments to align your purpose better to the true core purpose. And that is something many people like give up on. That is something many people don't like to know about, but that is just the path of life. You will never reach the destination, it's just a process. And I don't have to share anything else with you. It's up to you how much you risk to know what your purpose is. I can't make you take the actions. So be responsible and act with discipline. And if you really want to understand what your purpose in life is, then I just gave you the template that can help you with that. So that will be all. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, check the description to learn more, and stay tuned, baby.